Happy Monday, everyone. Carmen Broxma here with Choose Joy with Carmen. And here again for another episode of my Mo Joy Monday. And I wanted to kind of tell you how I came about this card. So I had purchased a kit to put together from another demonstrator. It was basically like a sampler pack of all the papers that are in the new in the new annual catalog. And so when I got this, there was 3 packs that she had done for me that were cut the wrong way. So see, this is this designer paper here. And there are some in here that are cut to be that long strip like that, see? But she cut these 3 pattern design papers in the long strips when they were supposed to be the squares. So I thought, well, what am I going to do with these strips? So I decided to do something with them. And so when I was going through the catalog, I was inspired by this card that's in the annual catalog on page 39. And I was inspired by that. So that's where my inspiration came from. And so because of that, I'm going to go ahead and use that same stamp set. But what I decided to do was I went through the Design a Daydream strips of paper that she gave me, and I picked out some colors that I thought went well together. So what I'm going to do is let me move this out of the way. And I will pull in the strips that I chose. And they came in, this size, the 1 inch. But I cut them in half. And these are the colors that I picked out from that Design a Daydream paper pack. And that paper pack is the one, let's see if I can show you that. That's the one that you can get when you have a qualifying workshop. You can get that paper pack, which has it's for $18, and it has 12 sheets, 2 each of 6 double-sided designs. So I like that paper pack. So these are the colors that I picked to use. And so what I'm going to do now, based on the inspiration of this card, looks like they're cut at an angle. So I'm going to kind of go through now and cut my strips that I've cut down to a 1/2 inch each. And then I'm going to kind of do some angle cuts. And then I'm going to kind of lay it out to decide how I want to put it on my card front. And then I will be back so that we can continue to put that together. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is I kind of took my strips and decided what pattern I wanted. How I wanted it to lay out. So now what I'm going to do is, since I decided to do 9 pieces, so I'm going to make this my middle one. And so I'm going to kind of, when I start to cut it, the ends at an angle, I'm going to make that my guide point for the middle, and then I'll know how small or large to make each of the ones going from the inside out. And then when I get those all cut, I'll come back and show you what I did. Okay, I have all my pieces cut at an angle, so now I'm just going to use some liquid glue, and I'm going to start adhering them to the card in a various random order. So I will go ahead and work on that, and I will just speed it up so that you don't have to watch me go at the pace that I'm going to go at. So while I'm putting these strips on, I just wanted to let you know that I created 2 other cards in the same way but with different colors. And if you want to see them, I have posted a picture over on my blog for you to look at. One of the cards I did the flower just a little different, but I think you'll like it. So head on over there if you want to see the other two designs, how they turned out. Okay, so there's that. So now I need to decide what my flowers are going to look like. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to be doing my flowers in pale papaya, no, the petal pink, which is part of this paper. And also this is the blackberry bliss. So I'm going to grab them and I'll be back so we can do some stamping. Okay, I grabbed me a piece of scrap, a basic white, and here's my petal pink. And I'm going to be using the flowers that they used on that card that I showed you in the beginning. So I'm going to use this smaller flower. So we're going to do the petal pink on that big flower and stamp that down. And I had to re-ink my pad, so it's when you re-ink it, it kind of gets I don't know if you can see that, how it bubbles up. So you don't want to push down too hard when you do that, so you're just kind of tapping. And then I'm just setting that down, and when my ink pads are really inked up like that, I kind of let it sit there for a little bit to soak in the paper. See, I didn't do that. I didn't let it sit there long enough on that. See, so it didn't soak in very well. But we're going to be using this other part, so I'm not worried about that. So let's close that up. And now we're going to go with the Blackberry Bliss with this center part. But when I was playing with this earlier, this Blackberry Bliss sometimes looks really black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it and stamp it again without re-inking to give it's going to have like a two-tone color. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up, and then I'm going to find a nice place where I want it, stamp it down, then I'm going to pick it up and rotate it just a little bit. See? So when you do that, you get that double look. Because see, look at how dark the Blackberry Bliss is. But with stamping it again, then you get that little lighter color, and I really like that look. So I'm going to do that again over here, and I'm just going to stamp it, don't re-ink it, and then I'm just going to tilt it a little and then stamp it again, and then we have that. Okay, so I have my two flowers. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get my die cuts out for that, which is this one right here. I'm going to go over to my machine and die cut that out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now those are die cut. So now I'm going to go ahead and I need a sentiment. And since I need a happy birthday card soon, I'm going to do happy birthday from that same art gallery set. And I'm going to take a piece of scrap, basic white, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment in Blackberry Bliss, because I always like my sentiments to be the darkest of the colors. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on here. And then I'm going to take the die that's also in that set, this one, and I'm going to run it through my die cut machine. And then when you do that, I already did that, you get this. So now let's look at that card again that I was inspired by. So it's this one right here, and they basically just put the flowers right on top of the strips and the sentiment there. And when I looked at my card to do that, I didn't like it because if I put these flowers like that in there, I just feel like I've lost the flowers somewhere in there. I mean, it's cute, but I like a little more contrast on my cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a strip of Blackberry Bliss down the middle here. But before we do that, let's go ahead and continue with the card and get that put together. So I'm gonna do the Petal Pink as my base card. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my bone folder and fold that in half and make sure it's nice and creased. And then I cut me a piece of Blackberry Bliss, and these dimensions will be on my blog. And I'm going to adhere that with my Stampin' Seal. So let's get that done. And I had to tell you, you know, a couple videos ago, I think I was ranting and raving about the magnetic plate, right? And how excited I was, and I used it today. But then right after I did that video, then Stampin' Up! Announced that they pulled it again because now, even though I was so excited how heavy it was, they pulled it again because I guess it's separating the pieces. So I don't know. I haven't had an issue so far yet, but they pulled it. So I was like, oh, great. I just was all excited about it, and now nobody can get it. So that's the way it goes. So then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this next. And the reason why I did that, you know, Blackberry Bliss, because again, I like that little bit of contrast. See, in here, they didn't do that extra matting. So let's go ahead and get this down. So yeah, I mean, it's so funny, you know. But I guess if the quality isn't right, then I totally understand why they have to pull it. And I hope mine lasts for a while and doesn't fall apart because I really am enjoying it. So, okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere that strip of Blackberry Bliss right down the middle of my card. I guess right about there. Make sure it's even. Okay. And then I'm going to take my sentiment and I am going to pop it up, I believe, right there in the middle. So let's get some pop dots here. I hope that the regular ones might be, it's getting really close there to being too big. Guess what I could do is cut a piece of the end here. That's what I'll do. And then maybe that'll be better. Or you could cut one of them in half or use the mini ones, whatever. I'm just going to cut that. Then I have no problem with it being too big. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull the release paper off of that and put that, try to find the center the best I can, and put that down. And then I also want to pop up my flowers, and I was like, where'd they go? So we could use the regular ones here. I'm going to put 2, I think, on the back of each flower. There we go. Take the release paper off. And I'm going to put one kind of at, see, I don't know. I probably should have put, you know, a little bit of, because this is going to be higher than this side. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and see how that'll be. Oh, it's not too bad. I think it'll be fine. I thought it was going to be popping up totally different. And then I'll kind of adhere another one to this side. There we go. So now we've got our 2 flowers there. And then on the inside, I went ahead, and I've already done that. And I pulled out my favorite stamp set, the Charming Sentiments. And because this is wishing you the happiest of birthdays, I wanted to say something on the inside. And then I did the same thing with the flower on the inside that I did here on the outside. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the inside of the card. And then all we have left are the embellishments. And I couldn't decide what embellishments I wanted to use. But then I remembered one that I thought would really look nice with this card. So let's go ahead and get this on the inside. And then that'll be done. Okay, now I thought that the champagne rhinestones would be really nice with this card. So let's go ahead and pull these out and get my take your pick tool. I know I brought it over here. Where did I do it? Here it is. Okay. So, I was going to say, I know there was another strip in here. I'm thinking, where did it go? There it is. So, let's see. Are these all the same size? No, these are smaller. Okay, so we do have a few large ones here, but I think I'm going to do all small maybe. Let's see, they did, looks like they did 5 different embellishments. So I'm going to kind of try to follow their lead on that. So let me go ahead and I think I'll just do all small ones. And we will put probably one here so that I can at least see it, because it's a little different than theirs, so it's going to be hard for me to follow it exactly. But I'm going to put 3 up in this area, and then I want to go with my odd, you know, how I like to do the embellishments in an odd number. So then I'll put 2 down here somewhere, like that, I guess. There we go. I like it. So there you go. There's a way how you can kind of get inspired by something in the catalog. And it gave me a way to use some of those strips that I had. There's the one in the catalog. And then there's mine. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that, and hope you realize now that you can kind of get your catalog out too and get inspired by cards that are in here as well, if you get tired of looking on Pinterest. Alrighty there, so I hope you enjoyed that. And I want to thank you all so much for following me. I just recently went over my 300 subscribers. My goal is to try to get to 1,000. I don't know how long that'll take. But maybe at a steady pace, if I can get people to subscribe, you know, on a consistent basis, maybe I could, I don't know. I don't know if it's possible to get there by the end of the year. Maybe that's being optimistic. I don't know, because I don't know how long it takes. But I just want to thank you all that have subscribed. You're helping me get up there to reach my goal of 1,000. But I was just so excited to get over 300. So thanks again for following me and subscribing. And if you like this video, when you give a thumbs up, that really helps me as well, because then if YouTube sees that people are liking my videos, then they help push it out there to other people. And then I guess that's how it all works. I don't know how all that technology of the algorithms work, but that's what I've been told. So I'm going to go with that. Okay, thank you all. And I hope you all have a great week. And we will see you again next Monday for another episode of my Mojoy Monday. Bye-bye, everyone.